This week's episode is sponsored by Helio Gas Detection.
Hey everybody, this is Richie from the Metal Cell podcast. I'm delighted to welcome Aesect to the show. I've got Willow and I have Luke on with me tonight. How are you, lads?
Yeah, good man. Thanks for having us. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's nice to have you back to some degree or other.
Yeah.
It was a great fucking surprise to me, especially talking to you, Willow, when I heard Revolutionary Suicide. I mean, holy fuck. That was just, I was just going, oh my God. And I got on to all my mates straight away going, listen to this. Like, and they were all, the feedback was brilliant, and it was a real shot in the vein for the Irish metal scene to have you back in action and you doing vocals as well.
Well, I haven't, I haven't fronted like an original band in a good while now. Like, yeah, it's probably like, well, how old am I now? So probably about 20 years, a little under 18, 20 years. So yeah.
18,
so yeah, what was that about? What was the band you were fronting originally?
Oh, years ago, it was like a thrash metal band. Never did
No
that.
way.
Yeah. But and then I suppose I played guitar for such a long time. I just stopped singing, and then I was actually in an Iron Maiden tribute band that I did vocals for.
That makes sense now with the fucking melodies. Okay.
Yeah. And then I got some uber talented guys in that band, and they could swap instruments like left, right, and center. So I kind of, one of the days when one of the guitarists left, I kind of jumped in there to be like, look, I want to play guitar for a while. So then they brought in you might know him actually, John Bonham, from Old Season and.
Oh, fuck it. Okay.
Yeah.
I was thinking John Bonham. Okay.
He's that. Oh, no, not John Bonham.
No, obviously not.
Yeah. The Irish one, the uber talented John Bonham, unbelievable vocalist. But so he kind of jumped in there, and then I started playing guitar then with them. But then we'd been going for like 10 years or something, so we all kind of got fed up with it and stopped. So
and what was the cover name? It wasn't Made in Ireland, was it?
It was Ireland Maiden, yeah.
Ireland Maiden.
Yeah.
Did you feature on what's that Carl Spain show?
Yeah.
No,
I'll never get
that
away
was
from
ye. Oh man, fucking hell! I have to dig that out. That's surely on YouTube.
It's the best intro ever. I was watching TV one day, it came on randomly, and then it did the intro at the snippet, and it just has Willow with a crate of beer like that. I was like, they've caught him in one. Perfectly sums him up.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Well, unfortunately or fortunately, yeah, that's the exact one. That was great crack to do, man. That was really funny. The way it wasn't going to be called that originally. I think it was called the Scrap Metal Tour, but it was just a bit of crack. A bunch of bands, bunch of guys who just like drinking and playing music. So it was cool. And the Led Zeppelin tribute band were on that as well. So it was the Metallica one. Metal Issue. They're savage, like Richie and the guys.
Savage.
They're such gents as well, and Gavin then from the Led Zeppelin tribute and stuff as well. I don't know if the other two are still going, but I still chat to Gavin every now and then, but once every 2 years, that's
yeah. So like when you got together, I presume you were still trading tracks and stuff throughout COVID and writing music, and a decision then had to be made about a singer. So maybe if you gave us your perspective, Luke, on that.
Well, we had a bulk of material before COVID, and it didn't feel right to kind of just jump into that and kind of throw that at someone and be like, there's however many songs it was.
That's fair enough.
There was the four of us where we still wanted to do something, but the audition process is like, it's daunting, to try find someone similar kind of vibe, personality, mentality, outlook, and then gel writing music together, all that kind of stuff. So I'd been badgering him for a while, and then unbeknownst to any of us, he was learning in the background kind of a style that kind of flowed, like bringing
Okay.
his style, mixing it with a style that we would have had previously. And
Mm.
then he just demoed Rev Suicide and sent it all on to us, and we're like, yeah, fucking deadly. That's exactly what we were
Jesus.
looking for.
So that was the
So
song
as
and
much
all,
as
yeah?
yeah, as
Fuck.
much of a shock as it was for you, it was a shock for us as
Yeah.
well. When like
Nice.
pretty much what you heard came through to us, and we were like, fucking amazing. This is exactly what we want to do. So then it was full steam ahead. It was like this is us. This is what we wanted
It's
to sound like
perfect, yeah.
for
Yeah.
years now. But yeah, over COVID there was a bit of a break. Like we all had a lot of shit going on at that time. Basically, there's been 5 kids between four
I
of
was
us.
just going to say fatherhood came knocking as well because Willow was on to me. I was fucking going, wow, fair play to you, man. Welcome to the club.
Yeah, so it's been a
Yeah.
busy few years. So there was all that going on in the background, and you
Yeah,
know,
I'm kind of glad though you didn't release material,
yeah,
during COVID. I think there was a lot of fence sitting with bands not knowing what to do.
Yeah.
And some went full steam ahead and got shit out, got it out
Yeah.
of their system.
Yeah.
Whereas others just as like yourselves just decided to wait.
Yeah, I think, well, funny enough, Dave, he was really prolific just with
yeah,
riffs, and
yeah,
nearly every couple of days he'd be sending stuff into the chats and stuff, and we'd be
Mm,
looking at it, and then I'd take that, and like the mini studio at home, so I'd then yeah, just start piecing things together to see what we could make out of it, and lyrical ideas, and kind of if structural what I would do if I was putting lyrics to it, and then you'd send it back and forth. But
yeah,
you're waiting to get into a room to see how it feels when you play it.
yeah,
Like it's one thing to do it on yeah, it's one thing to do it on a computer, but then when you get into a room, you're like, that just doesn't vibe right. We need to change this, we need to do that. So an element of the two is needed. So
yeah,
we just didn't feel comfortable releasing everything until we'd actually played it ourselves
yeah.
in a studio
Because
and
over the fucking 2, 3 years, whatever it was, there was only a few jams where we actually got together when there
mm.
was enough of a lockdown that we could all make it into the same room, kind of hash stuff out. So then when we did get back, we got our new space, we got a permanent space, and that was it. We're set
Where's
up
that,
again.
lads? Are you still Dublin based
Yeah,
or Wicklow?
Ballymount in Dublin.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
all
So
right,
it's
yeah,
kind of central for all of us. Like we're Wicklow, but
nice.
the lads are further afield in Dublin, so it's off the
Okay,
M50 for everyone. So it's handy.
that
It
shit all of a road,
hurts
yeah.
to
Oh,
yeah. It's a shithole of a road, but it's the best rehearsal space we've ever had. So
Oh, it's so
fantastic, yeah,
handy. Yeah, and the guys who own it are just so nice.
yeah.
Dead on.
So having the Willow on vocals, having our own space, our own studio, and like a new lease on music, it just really lit a fire under us to
yeah.
go, basically.
So like we'll talk about the songs that you had throughout COVID, and you brought them to how like you were self-producing to a degree, were you especially when you have your rehearsals and you
Yeah.
flesh out the songs a bit more,
Yeah.
were you recording and demoing them then as well, or had you always
Yeah, so we always kind of do that. So we always
okay,
like we've always used track mix, like as you well know, he's a legend,
yeah,
incredible. Like you can bring him whenever you want, and you know he'll turn it into something special. So we generally like I bring it as best to my skill set as I can to him with the ideas that I have, and then yeah, generally that's how it works. So we'll
Yeah.
DI most of the stuff. The drums we have just on shitty recordings from the room, so he understands what's happening. And then
yes,
basically we're going in there to get the drum tracks done, and then we take them back, and then we record our guitars, DI them, and then we bring them into him, and we spend the day then just like mixing things and editing things. But I've always done my vocals in the room, in our practice room, and then I send him the stems.
Ah.
And then yeah, just because I find it really difficult to get into them for any solid amount of time. So I might do a verse, which could take me a week, of just going into the studio for a couple of nights and just going, I'm not happy with the way that sounds. I want to change that word. I want to change that.
okay, yeah,
And then sometimes I'll listen to it for a while and be like, you know what, those lyrics are shit.
yeah,
And I'll just change things up, or yeah, it's always the way. And then through COVID, we kind of sat on things for way too long. So
Way
then I was
too
being
long.
really, really pedantic on stuff. So eventually I just went, you know what, that is what it is. It's going out now, and I could change things forever and ever and ever and ever, but eventually we have to get stuff out. So.
yeah. And I'm just interested as well, like through COVID, those songs, like, was there a lot of them scrapped just because maybe they didn't suit your vocal style? Like, how were you kind of looking at certain songs, Willow?
Yeah, that's a fair shout, all right. So Yeah, Revolutionary Suicide was one that we had a theme for,
Yeah.
and we also like it was fully recorded and finished as a band perspective, whereas the other ones, a lot of them aren't fully finished yet, like they're missing harmonies or solo sections. And then the idea was that we were going to take them away and put vocals and the rest of little bits to them, while we were playing around at our own houses and stuff. We just never got around to doing that. So then it just didn't seem right to release any of those yet because we hadn't fleshed them out. And then we'd written so many new stuff that we were more excited about the newer stuff.
Yeah,
So we
that's
still
always
have,
the case, isn't it?
yeah. So
You just
realistically,
get
like
carried away on the momentum.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It definitely is a momentum thing. Like the there's like 5 or 6 of I wouldn't say they're been forever, but they just
No.
kind of they've
Parked.
sat there for a while. So
Mm.
it's like, well, all this is coming out. This is direction we were kind of flowing anyway. We were
Yes.
kind of turning the corner into this new rehearsal space, new approach, new vocalist. Let's just go. Let's just lean into
Yeah.
this. It's
Yeah.
flowing. It's coming out faster. We're getting it tracked better and produced and turned around a lot quicker. So just lean into it and go with it, kind of thing.
Mhm. Yeah.
It wasn't even that there was much of a discussion about it. It's like, you write a song, you finish it, and you're excited to go record it and get it out to the world. So
Mm.
Yeah.
it just was coming together a lot quicker than everything else. So
Yeah.
So do you
and then-
think so do you think the vision of the band has changed much since you first started?
not really.
not
I
since-
mean,
Not since I've been in it anyway.
No,
I mean,
I don't
the
think
goal
so.
was always just to record, like first and foremost, write and play music.
Yeah,
Secondly,
that's-
record,
yeah.
hopefully record them and then give it out to people to see what they think. But realistically, we like to play live. That's
Yeah.
our favorite
Yeah.
thing to do, and we just love that whole experience, everything about it.
Yeah.
Meeting the bands at the start, setting up, doing your sound check, that feeling you have when you're having your pint, watching the other bands play,
Yeah.
getting ready to play yourself. That's all like, yeah, you just can't beat that, And then the camaraderie with the different bands and some people in the crowd and stuff then as well afterwards. They're like, when they're digging your set and they come up and they chat to you afterwards. And then like same with yourself, that's how I got talking to you, originally.
Yeah.
Was
Sure.
after one of the Aesect sets, I think it was in Cork, wasn't it?
It was in Cork, yeah.
Urban
Yeah.
Assault or something.
And then just got chatting to you at the merch stand and the rest is history. Like, so yeah, but as in terms of vision, no, I think it's been relatively the same. It's just more our output has changed.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
bit more focused.
Yeah.
Like our lives are a bit more, whilst they're busier, our personal lives are a bit more like, once the kids are in bed, we can go record and do what we need to do, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah. But I mean, everything is relevant, with music, with bands, with life as well. And the fact that you're gearing up now, I'm guessing and I'm hoping that you should hopefully have an album of material by the end of this year. I'm not sure about your schedule, but that's what I'm hoping for, kind of looking and listening to what you're producing at the moment. So even looking at the scene, particularly bands that are out and playing live, there's a lot of fucking interesting stuff out there, lads, isn't there?
Mhm.
It's
No,
it's
stop, man.
inspirational as well.
it's
Yeah,
great at the minute.
It's cool. Keeps
Yeah.
you on your toes, man.
It does keep you on your toes.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and even at that, like, it's great. You kind of like, oh, we haven't played with them. That would be a fucking great band
Yeah.
to get it. Like,
Yeah.
even just have a few beers with and just knock heads about, just, yeah. So, like, there's loads of bands out there that I'm admiring at the moment for sure, especially within the Irish scene. Like, yeah, it's unreal. Like, I don't want to name drop because I always forget some people and then I get annoyed afterwards that I didn't mention friends and things.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair enough. No, I know that.
but like, yeah, one that I will say that absolutely blew my mind was the Enigma division, because that's right up my street. That whole
Yes. Okay. Some album. Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was
Big-
unbelievable. I brought it into the
Quality
lads and was like,
musicianship
what the fuck is
alone.
this?
Yeah.
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 Like there's another band as well, Shardborn. It's just
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Kieran.
Fucking-
Yeah, man. Yeah.
like and you're right about not name dropping, but look, these are two releases that are just in a different
Yeah.
stratosphere.
Yeah.
Like,
That's Ben again as well, isn't it?
it is Ben again. Yeah.
Fucking hell, he must be so busy. Like, cause he also did he have something to do with? There's another recording he's after doing as well, isn't there? Anyway, I saw on
not sure.
socials it's his Ben Wonder studio down there. He's doing killer stuff, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd love to. There's someone, if he's listening there, I'd love to collab there with the
We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shoot into Revolutionary Suicide there for those that don't know Aesect. And this is a nice section that represents the It's all about the riffs. Here we go.
The time has come, lay down your life to revolutionary suicide. There's no fighting back. You will see. To reach the other side, follow me.
Oh, Willow, Jesus, you surprised the shit out of me, man, when you came out with that. Like, fucking hell.
Think of how we felt.
I know, bringing joy to our hearts, man. Bringing joy to our hearts. Fair fucks to you. The
Nice one.
lyrical team with the bands. Who's bringing the lyrics? Am I right in saying that it's just you, Willow, or can anybody throw?
Yeah,
Jordan
like
Phillips.
if somebody has an idea, they can throw it at me. Like,
Oh,
you know what I mean?
he's,
Whether I
he's
listen or
real
not,
good
like-
for taking a concept. So the concept of that had been floating around for a while. It's actually between me and you, I think, for
Yeah,
ages.
well, I'd done the intro before the song. Like,
That's right.
I had that
Yeah,
intro
yeah,
ready
yeah.
to go before the song was ever written. Or like, I want to put this at the start of a track.
So he's real good at and he'll take little things that you will throw out just randomly in jam, and then he'll come back like 2 weeks later and go, oh, that kind of spurred on this and whatever. So, like, of all the musicians and vocalists that I've worked with, he's got this little knack of just picking something that you say and turning it into something I could never vocalize.
Yes.
He's very, very good at that. Very
That's
good.
cool.
Yeah. Touch of the old magpie about him, like.
Yeah, yeah.
So we'll just go like religious prison, the cross it bleeds, reduced in vain to righteous poverty, controlled by demons that plague your life. I cannot save you, the darkens, closes in.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's like, obviously you have your religion involved,
Mhm.
you have
It's
world
kind of
order
told
problems.
like the way especially the first verse, I approached it as if I was the preacher, if you will, the Jim Jones of the group,
Yes.
So that's how that
Okay.
starts. Is kind of, I'm aware of what I'm doing, and I'm, prophesizing, and I can see you basically give me everything. I manipulate you whatever way I want, and
Yes.
nothing you can do about it. And then the second verse is the consequence kind of your actions, and then him realizing that he's gone too far, and
Yeah, like you do have fun as well, because there's so much stuff out there on the internet, and there's not a lot of, I don't like you won't be pulled up over it yet.
yes,
Yes,
well, we know
but-
that, like,
But
that
we'll
has to be
just stick with revolutionary suicide there, because I mean the footage that he put together for it, it certainly hit home, and it backed up the ferocity of the song,
Well, the lyrical content comes from there. There's about I think when I went through it, Christ, during COVID again, I had a lot of time on my hands, so I watched a lot of documentaries. So there's about, I think it's about 100 and something different documentaries, whether it be 10 minutes or hour long, and they're all
Yeah.
based on the same theme,
Yeah.
essentially that. And so that's where all of that comes from, and a lot of that footage is taken from the documentaries that I'd watched,
Yeah. So you didn't get any strikes,
which is mad, because I
Yeah,
actually think the
right,
footage
yeah.
in that is somewhat worse.
Yeah.
For some of it, definitely. But anyway, yeah. No, they didn't strike it. I think YouTube have changed their moderating as well. It's AI now, I think. So they look for specific, and so that then gets
that
flagged.
makes sense.
That gets flagged and sent to a person, I believe. Now I could be totally wrong there, but that seems to be what the problem is here. So
Well, it's the political climate at the minute.
also that,
Anything more based.
yeah, true.
So,
Yeah,
like AI has come up on the show a fair bit, as you probably know, Willow.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
listen to the actual podcast.
I do, yeah. I try and whenever you're doing the live stuff, I'm always in the background listening in, like, because it's always a bit of crack. Like the last
Yeah.
one was fucking hilarious. They were talking about Oh, yeah, you missed it. They're talking about something to do with taking a shit in one of the. Anyway, I won't go into it.
Dolan's, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So I want to talk about AI in relation to the artwork. There's none. Is there?
In the Revolutionary Suicide,
Yeah.
you do all our artwork.
It depends on the track. So there is a bit in some, but it's
Yeah.
never direct AI. Well,
Yeah.
it's direct AI heavy manipulated if it is.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
there's a mix of.
I didn't know you did that, Luke. Fair play to you, man. That's great to have someone like that in the band as well. Wow.
That's his job. That's his bread and butter. He's
That's
a
my
graphic
actual-
designer.
Yeah, I'm a failed musician, so that was the second thing.
Love it. I love it. That's brilliant.
Yeah.
So you're just using Aesect to further your career then,
Yeah,
basically.
as a graphic designer, not a musician.
Yeah. One will pay for the other. I don't know which one will do
Eventually.
it yet.
So Luke, would you be prepared to do artwork for other bands?
Yeah, I have done in the past. I've done a
Good
bit,
man.
like a few t-shirts and stuff like that here and there. To be honest, there's so many guys that are so talented out there, like the Bulga, Serpent Tusk, all these
Yeah,
guys.
of
I'm
course.
like, leave it to them. They're masters of what they're doing. Like,
Yeah.
I like doing our stuff because I know the songs inside out, and like I'll spend about 30, 40 hours doing one design, when I'm free of an evening, sit down and do this stuff.
I know of some of the promoters that have hit you up with the artwork and stuff, and they've asked you to fit things up and do posters and
Nice.
Petrify, I want you to do t-shirts and stuff.
I
for
used
them
to
too.
do a lot of Danny
Danny,
stuff from back in the urban. I did a lot of the early urban assault stuff and stuff like that, but my like day job is so busy at the minute, to be honest. There's not enough time to be advertising for that stuff. I like doing ours because I know the songs inside out.
So you've done the 3 singles, Luke, have you?
Yeah.
Wow. Fucking hell.
And the t-shirts to go with that stuff, and so
yeah.
he also does our so the social media side of things. He'll have all the artwork changed per song, so he has to have, YouTube has its own specific size for fucking everything and stuff. So every platform has its own size and its own. So he's had to do all that for us as well. So
once the drums are tracked, the lads will be talking guitar for a year and a half.
Yeah,
So
of course. Of course. That's the fucking thing with them, isn't it? It's all about the riffs.
We've got 3 guitarists in one band. I get nothing done.
Marrying the bass with the vocals, Willow, was it? You obviously worked it out in rehearsal studios, but what was the first live gig? What one was that?
The first live was the
performance
into the pit. The only gig we've done this year is into
Have
the
you
pit
only
festival.
done one?
Yeah, we've only done the one this year so far.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah,
okay.
We were offered 1 or 2 more, but it hasn't worked out for us in terms of times and dates and stuff. Do you know?
Fair enough.
So what we are, so that was the first one I did. But yeah, getting into the practice room was interesting because I again, when I originally did it, I played guitar. But bass it's a totally different.
Yes.
You can't really approach it the same way. You can, but just won't sound the same. So even like rhythmically, it's different. Do you know? So it's not. Sometimes you're playing different things to what you're expecting to be playing. So I found that difficult in that I wrote Rev Suicide without a bass in my hand.
Of course.
And that's a big. So I then had to learn how to play Rev Suicide while singing, and that's 2 different things. So then I made sure that every time I did lyrics after that, I did it with like a bass in my hand. So
I was gonna say you didn't make that mistake twice.
No. That took seriously. That almost broke me. But so now I do everything with the bass in my hand. So when I'm doing it and I'm thinking like lyrically what I'm going to do, just so that the things marry up better and it feels natural and I'm not forced and I feel stiff when I'm doing things. I like to be able to.
And like, breaking away up to the cleaner parts of the song and the melodic sections with the bass, was that difficult as well?
No, well, actually, that's where I'm more at home.
Oh, really? Good.
Yeah. So,
Good.
Like most of my vocals previous to this were all like clean. So, like Russell Allen from Symphony X, one of my favorite singers on Earth Dio. Like they're my heroes, my idols. That's what I would sing in the shower. Do you know what I mean?
Okay.
So,
it was the guttural stuff was tougher, like.
Yeah, well, it's not something that came natural to me because a lot of that music came to me when I started listening or playing with the lads. So they would introduce me to different bands, and it's just it's blown my mind. Like, so I dove deep into a lot of that stuff. Not to say that I didn't listen to it beforehand, but it was never something that I would attempt to sing. You know,
Yeah.
I always looked at the guitar parts as soon as that came on, or I'd hear vocals like that, my mind immediately went to the guitars or the drums, with the bass, you know. So, but now, it's everything. So now I focus on, yeah, music has changed for me now. I go back to bands that I wouldn't listen to years ago, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my God, that's so much fucking cooler than I thought it was, you know.
So we'll say we'll go back to the first gig he played. Had you any issues on the night, or did it all go swimmingly well?
Well, our intros, that was our biggest issue.
Yeah, we lost our intros.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have a cable. The
Okay.
venue didn't have a cable to support running the live intros. But
Okay. And were you going to be triggering them, Luke, from the drum kit, were you?
No,
The intros.
that was the issue. So the sample pad that we have had was on the Fritz, so we
Yeah.
had to swap to a
Phones.
backup system that they couldn't support.
Okay.
So anyway,
Yeah,
it
it
didn't
just
work
didn't
out
go
on the
well.
night, but we've been doing this for so long that it's just like, right, we just adapt. We just go to the
Yeah.
old school way we used to play it and just swap back into.
The only difference there was that then I had to have some sort of stage banter that wasn't planned, or you know, and when you're standing there kind of in between songs, you're like, well, hello,
Well.
how you getting on? What's the crack? So it had been a fair while since I've done that, you know, and you kind of, it's hard to put on a persona and be like, oh, you know, I'm fucking this, that, and the other. I don't know.
Where's
just-
your fucking horse?
yeah, that kind of stuff, you know. I can do
And sure,
that.
we lap up all that shit then
Yeah.
as well. Like,
Yeah,
even though for you to say it, you're just going, oh my God. Like,
Yeah. So it was a mix of me still being within a shell of myself, I suppose, but at the same time trying to chat away to the guys that were there. A lot of that was because a lot of people that were there were like family members and friends that hadn't seen us in 4 years. So they were all kind of out there to support us and stuff. So it was more,
Yeah.
they'd see right through that and probably throw things at me if I was being, you know. So I was like, all right, cool, yeah, no worries. But no, it was, I can't actually, we're playing this Saturday, and I can't fucking wait. We've been practicing for this and gearing up for this for quite a while, like, so we're ready, yeah, for sure. This is
Yes.
going to be, yeah,
that's
unreal.
the job. Great to hear. That would be Metal to the Masses then, isn't it?
Yeah, the Metal
You're
Masters.
the guest band on the night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which is like, so 2019, we won that year, and
That's right. I remember.
I
Sure.
think it was 10 Ton Slug that was a guest band that year, weren't they?
The year we
Yeah.
won, it was 10 Ton Slug.
Yeah.
Performed.
So the
We-
year we come back 2024,
Yeah.
we're releasing stuff, and it's great to see the lads releasing
Yeah.
stuff as well, you know. So
It is class, yeah. I'm just wondering, I think that was the last Bloodstock we went to, was the time he played.
2019, was it?
Yeah. It
Yeah.
was, yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
mad. Remember that. Yeah, isn't it? It's great, you know, that like the likes of yourself, Slug and Zahora, all them bands are still out there, you know. You know, COVID didn't fucking put many of them to the sword, which is great.
No. And they just played, didn't they, in Dublin?
They did.
On
Yeah.
the weekend there.
So,
Yeah,
and
heard
we're
that
playing
was
with them in
in the
Templemore.
Templemore Metal Festival. Yeah, shout out to Jeff
Mm.
there.
Yeah.
So yeah, really looking forward to that as well. That's going to be fucking deadly. Yeah.
So the follow-on single from Revolutionary Suicide then was Simulacra. Is that Simulacra?
Simulacra. Yeah.
Yeah, Latin. For
Yeah.
likeness and semblance. Interesting. Bit of rabbit hole there, Willow, for lyrics, or
So the idea behind that was that it was a carbon copy of something but lacking substance. So it's a something that I thought was kind of cool, that worked really well with the likes of like a mental health or struggle within mental instability. Like, you know, you're forcing yourself to be something, you know, you can put the face on, but realistically, if anyone dug any deeper, there's nothing there. Like, it's not. Yeah.
Which version of you will he be today, kind of thing?
Yeah. Simple. Yeah.
and the
very,
video portrayed it perfectly.
Yeah.
Oh, Matt Keelan was unbelievable.
Yeah.
We do like.
Yeah, honestly.
You can probably tell we're very hard at we're not great at describing things sometimes.
Yeah.
But we basically gave him an elevator pitch of this is kind of roughly what we want to do.
Okay.
The lad said action, and he just flipped the switch, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that guy can act like fuck.
Yeah. Like if it wasn't for Long
Lost,
Lost, the
actually,
videographers and Keelan, like that whole idea falls on its tits, because
Yeah.
we had an idea, but just could not articulate what it is we
Yeah.
wanted. Couldn't even like mood boards and all that kind of stuff. Just didn't. So I remember I went into the office with the two lads and I sat down with them for about maybe 20 minutes one day, and that's the entire pitch. It was just, this is what we're thinking, and I showed them what the sentences we'd written down from band practice, and I was like, that's all I have. I don't have a huge amount more. This is the color grading we're after, and then we kind of have an idea of X, Y, and Z. So then, luckily enough, we found a really cool place where we could have 3 buildings essentially within very close proximity, and it was all shot in one night. Like,
no,
yeah,
no
that's
way.
Not even one night. That's shot in 6 hours, 7 hours.
Yeah, from 8
So
o'clock.
the bedroom scene,
Yeah.
the chaise lounge,
Yeah.
where he was
The
lying
Yeah,
back,
it's the
and
therapist thing. Yeah.
what was the third place?
Bathroom scene.
The bathroom.
Oh, the
They're-
bathroom scene.
They're
Yeah,
3
yeah,
different
yeah.
buildings. Yeah.
Wow.
They're 3 different buildings, and it all came across really, really well. Like, so
We started outside to catch the bit of light, and then we went into the bedroom scene first. And you know where he's kind of pacing around the room in the video?
Yeah.
I think that was the first shot that we did. And
Oh,
we're in the room beside, kind of peering in, watching him going,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, he's terrifying.
he was just so good, man. Yeah.
And he'd just be there, he'd be chatting to us, blah, 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 and I'd go, okay, we're set up, we're ready to go, and he'd just switch it on like that. I was like,
And
that's
whose
insane.
idea was it of changing the clothes to suit the, like, I mean, he had the white shirt on, then it was the black.
Yeah,
Sure.
it was. I think it was long lost. A bit of everyone. We wanted to kind of suggest that
mainly
timeline.
he picked the clothes.
Yeah, like he shaved in the middle of it, and like he came in scruffy looking, so we did all the scruffy stuff first, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll shave and get all
Like,
cleaned up and shoot it backwards."
We had
basically.
mentioned about clothes, and we were like, oh, this might be a cool thing to do. So he came with just a rack of clothes, essentially, just a bunch of stuff to be like, oh, are you thinking this or more this or this, you know?
Yeah.
So his bag just had a few bits in it, like, but he was honestly like for us, he was just incredible. Yeah, the 3 lads are just, them working together is insane. Like, so they're the same people we've used for the 3 videos.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I knew Dave, who's one of the videographers. I knew him from Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu years ago. And then I happened to bump into him. Jeez, I can't even remember. It was somewhere. And then it was in work. He got hired to do something in work. And then we got chatting again. And I was like, oh, do you know what? I have something coming up I'd love to use you guys for. And then that was Revolutionary Suicide. So,
Okay.
yeah. And that's, yeah.
But you know, just one more thing about the whole video of Simul Acra is the Stanley knife.
We had to cut. So there's that's actually my work knife. So that came out of my chest and I gave it to him there, and then still have that.
You didn't need to have the graphic.
No,
It was the suggestion of it the whole time.
Yes,
It was
exactly.
fantastic.
So there are, like, when the first edit came back to us, it was a little bit more.
There was more.
There was a few more like nuances about it, like, and we were just kind of like, Dave in particular was like, no, look, we don't need to. He was very adamant about like pulling that back and just having a suggestion of it. Like, so again, I think he was right in that regard, because it was just,
because then you can take your own take from it.
Yeah.
Where the video does end up.
Like, and it's more powerful that way rather than visually leading someone down the garden path and then expecting the outcome.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you take it away and you force them to, you know, did he do it in the end or not? It's a lot better.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it a spin here. This is fucking, the breakdown in this is ridiculous. Oh. Yeah, fantastic. How hard do you, now that you're playing bass, Willow, how hard do yourself and Luke work for those rhythm patterns? Is there a lot of back and forth between
a little
you?
triplet, the little gallop in there.
Yeah.
That's something that I had to work on, with Luke and the lads, because it's if I miss that, or if it pushes the vocals out, and then we're three of us are doing three different times, so it becomes this. So it's really when that's done right, and like it has to be tight, has to be. So we practice that a lot.
Within all three releases, I can tell you one riff that we have spent months on, just getting, but if either it's me or Willow, me and Ado, just getting every little pattern locked in 100%. We're very, very particular that, like, that's what we want to do. We can't do it now, but maybe we'll keep coming back to it. But that part in Simulacra took. We had that for we've had that for years.
That the triplet, the little skip, that and the breakdown. The breakdown is something we had for a long time. Even working out the pattern for that.
And it wasn't as much the playing of it. It was more so, where does it fit perfectly in a song?
Okay.
Oh, I think you're going to lose us there. Yeah, sorry. Give me 1 second there, Rich.
No, all good. So we had a bit of a technical hitch. We're back anyway.
Yeah, Richie, I can't believe you screwed up there, man. That's what
fucking hangs me out then.
Only say it if you mean it,
It's them cheap fucking Dublin cameras you keep buying. That's all I'll fucking say.
Yeah. So we got the other two lads are outside on the pedalo bikes trying to power everything, So
pay up your internet. That's all I'll say. So we were on about Simulacra, right? And trying to play that live will be a challenge.
Yeah, so we were saying there that like there's that little the little hop in it, the din, 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 that little section there, that we put a lot of time in practice in trying to fix that and trying to get it together, because if we play it wrong, like each guitar will kind of be slightly out, and it just almost sounds like a delay more so than. But when you get it right, it's incredible. It's so
basically what you're saying is fuck all beers before you on stage.
Well, we're not saying
can you manage that?
Not all.
Sometimes that helps. just that loosens you up a little bit. You know what I mean? You're not worried about those little things. So I would definitely. I much prefer having a couple of beers beforehand. Not a huge amount now. Just the one or two. The settlers. The
settlers.
And then it's just a little bit easier. The little things that you'd be pissed off about in a set. Even like say if you do make one of those mistakes, if you had a few beers and you kind of tend to forget about it, push it out of the way, and you're on to the next thing.
You're on to the next thing. Yeah.
If you're sober, you can hang on that for. And all of a sudden now you're on the second verse and you're still thinking about that fuck up in the first verse. So that can be a pain in the hole.
I love that logic. That's my type of logic. Yeah, very good.
Which is why, more beers.
So we'll go on to the last single, Cease and Assist, rather than Desist. You ran into trouble with the video itself, which we kind of just mentioned earlier, but like considering the amount of stuff that goes on in news, what would you call news agencies, like you're subjected to, they don't seem to have a filter anymore a lot of the time, especially even when you go on social media as well. So for what he put up, I thought it was fairly mild.
Yeah, so did we. We actually, this is like the third or fourth edit, so, and we had taken away some very, we'd swapped to where some of the imagery is hardcore. We swapped to us playing, and it's in the background. If you look, you can see the kind of.
Is it over the band? Is it when you're playing?
Projected on us parts tend to be the more extreme parts.
Yeah, so if we've swapped the clips where we're playing, it's probably because we don't want to show you what's on the actual. We didn't want that picked up. So there's some pretty bad stuff in there, and then the ones you do get to see was what we thought was the slightly milder end of it, like so. But again, a lot of that's taken from documentaries that are currently on YouTube.
Yes.
So
it just doesn't make sense to me, but look, you live by a certain standard, and, for what's out there at the moment with, Ukraine, Russia, everything, it is fairly fucking, it's fucked up basically. And you know, for a band like yourselves to use stuff like that and try and make it like you're artists as well as musicians, you know, and you want it to portray and do the song justice. So it's a bit worrying that you can't do that now, because obviously something has changed in YouTube that will prevent artists using material that has been recorded and shown on news outlets.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a strange kind of
Well,
world we're kind of entering there artistically wise, isn't it?
it's sad to say that will be in the back of our head the next time we're doing a video.
Yeah,
Not that we get to
censorship,
hold
like
back.
it's a form of censorship as well, like.
Yeah, I don't think we won't hold back, but we'll just have to take into consideration that we'll have to put it on an alternative platform where we may not have as much of a reach
Yeah.
as we do currently. So, but look,
Yeah.
like we're not gonna leash ourselves because of it. You know what I mean?
And it's a bit like, you know, do you curtail your artistic view so that it fits with, and then you're being censored
Yeah.
indirectly.
But like, do you know what? Like another side of it, Willow, as well, is you're not glorifying violence
No,
No,
well, the whole point
by
of
any
it
means.
is quite the
Yeah.
opposite. Yeah.
Yes. So like this is new. Like this is like YouTube has always been a platform that people always were happy enough to use, but nowadays it's just actually turning my fucking stomach because you're being bombarded by ads as well.
Mm.
You know, they come in the middle of a fucking song or
That's
you know,
what
and
that to me is like.
it's just like fucking hell. Like, where's this platform going? And it seems to me that there's a lot involved now. As you said yourself, it's an interesting thought. Is AI now censoring it?
Well, I think that's what happened. I think they have an AI that'll just scan for certain images, and then it'll get picked up and then brought to a person to either say yay or nay. So that's why it took up to a week for us to get our platform or our
I think the
profile
topic
back.
as well. Certain images around certain topics, they're just going to automatically flag, I think, no
Okay.
matter what.
Yeah.
And we appealed it, and they said we'd get a response within 72 hours, and a week later we had no response. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
you know, that's what you're fighting against, you know.
So having also the fact that we have us it now has to be over 18s, kind of like I'm lazy. People are lazy. Do you know what I mean? They don't click in and go, fuck, I'll log in now just to watch this. You know, you have to have an avid interest to actually do that.
Yeah.
So you've automatically lost the casuals there, you know.
Yeah.
Which is fair enough. Like Spotify and all the rest are there for them. But the video, like we spend, and it's why we're doing individual releases, is that we can spend time then on the concept and visuals and bringing it all together. And by the time we're releasing a product, that's months of work, you know, gone into it, into the colors we're choosing, to the color grading, to why we're like the t-shirt color, to what we have on the t-shirt itself and t-shirt designs and specific, like each t-shirt again would have like little Easter eggs that are in there and things that you wouldn't pick up on. But so it by the time it gets the release date, it's huge. So for 24 hours after we released the video, for it to be taken down was pretty gut-wrenching, but look, it happens, you know. Thankfully, people just migrated to the other platforms because it went up by like 170 something percent on other platforms.
Okay.
Which was which was good to see that people wanted to hear the song anyway.
Yeah.
They were just which was cool.
Yeah. Okay. So, like we touched on it earlier. Are you leading up to an album release?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Couldn't give you a date, like an exact date, but everything we're doing and recording is actively under the umbrella of an album release.
So we actually, the songs are technically finished.
Yeah.
We just have one or two that we want to actually record, essentially. So we have the guts of the whole album done. We have a concept. We know, when I say concept, we have like an art concept and a title and a running title and stuff that we're running with at the moment. And again, that's something we've built up since the start, maybe mid-COVID. That one phrase has been with us the whole time. So
no, that's nice to hear.
We're kind of bringing that with it. So each of the tracks are, now I'm not going to say it's a concept album, but again, each of them will all fit in. So we've one more track that we're going to release, hopefully in July, all going well. It's pretty much done. The drums and all are done for the guitars and stuff are done. I'm just going to touch up some vocals. And then that's the easy part as far as we're concerned. The songs are written.
Yeah.
So once it's at that point, it's now doing the visuals and the concepts. And this one is probably the more controversial.
Wow. Okay.
So after the last few that have been there, this one's probably going to be the one that's
if anything was going to cause us an issue, I thought this was going to be the one.
Interesting.
But no, we're not going to hold back on it. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, fuck that. It is art, it is music, and you know you're compromising straight away if you do. So no, stick with that vision. So you're self-funding the whole time, lads. Yeah.
Anyone that buys a t-shirt or anyone that supports us at a gig or streams or any money we make goes straight back into the band. There's
we don't pocket any.
We don't pocket it, and it's as soon as we have a day for recording put in the bank, we're in doing drums and we're adding on or we're mixing or we're whatever we're doing. It's all feeding itself basically.
So the kitty is a huge thing. I mean, when we finished up when COVID hit, we finished up, and the kitty that we had went towards trying to finish off the album that we had. So a lot of that time a lot of the money that we had went into that kind of thing. But then in order for us to make money, we have to release stuff. So we're like, right, we're investing in this in the hope that we can bring that money back. But look, it's a labor of love as well, you know. When it comes down to it, there's the rehearsal space, the renting of that as well. There's the equipment that we buy and the other bits and pieces, because that changes over time as well, you know. You
yes, of course.
So it's definitely not a money making thing, but it's it's a hobby, you know, and it's just loads of fun, and like without the people who support and buy the t-shirts and you know, come to the shows and stuff like that, like it just doesn't work, because we couldn't fully fund this all ourselves. Not possible. Like and recently we haven't had to, which is great. The uptake on the merch and the again the gigs that we have coming up as well will hopefully.
Who did you go with the merch for the t-shirts? Was it an Irish company or was it UK, or where'd you get them?
We've used a few different ones. It just depends on one currency at the time. Like if you're generally, UK used to be a lot cheaper, but
not anymore.
All over the place at the minute. So we have a few that we pull on. Like we've used Absurd merch in the past. We've used Raglan, Screenprint, but like I think we've used them all over the band. Like so, it honestly just depends. We'll farm it out to a few people and see what comes in at the best based on the design that we're doing.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So I'll put the merch link down below. And it isn't, I think, now correct me if I'm wrong, but your access to the merch side of Aesect isn't through your Bandcamp. It's through...
It's a
big cartel,
Big cartel. Perfect.
Yeah.
So that's important to tell people there. So the big cartel link will be underneath here. So make sure you click on that and
the platform.
Show the lads some love.
Please, if you don't mind. They're welcome back to your lovely singles and videos they get banned.
So the next time, apart from Metal to the Masses, next time people can see Aesect is in the Class Templemore Metal Fest.
Really looking forward to that.
Sure,
that'd be brilliant. And you probably will announce a few more gigs as time goes on.
There's a few more in our DMs, but no, we haven't. Nothing's come back to us. We haven't firmed anything up yet, because again, it's tough with the work and stuff that we have. It gets a bit more. It's a bit hard to pin down people 3 or 4 months in advance, you know. So
that's fair enough. Okay, lads, so look, I wish you nothing but success. The 3 singles that you've released have been top class quality. It's a real great feeling to see a band putting out that music, and you know, the quality speaks for itself, the aggression, the riffs, everything. I love it. And there's an audience for you out there. We just need to see you live now at this stage. Well, look,
absolutely. If you know anybody looking for gigs, get in touch. 100%. We'll happily join on. For sure.
And be sure to say hello to Dave and Ado for me as well, won't you?
We will, man. Unfortunately, couldn't be here, but
cool. So you've been listening to Willow and Luke from Aesect. Thanks again for coming on the show, lads.
No problems. Thanks for having us, man. Cheers.
Yeah, and crucially, support your local metal scene.